Today, we will take a look at sociolinguistics that can be investigated in varieties of ways, including interviews with a native speaker, matching tests and other dialects, and speech observation or studies. We will investigate sociolinguistics in greater depth in this project. We will go over what sociolinguistics is and what it studies, as well as the factor, importance, and the role it plays. So first of all, we will define what is sociolinguistics. Sociolinguistics is a branch of linguistics that studies the impact of many characteristics of society, such as culture, norm, expectation, and context, on how language is used, as well as the relationship between society and language. It is distinct from language society, which focuses on the impact of language on society. Sociolinguistics is closely related to linguistics, anthropology, and overlaps with pragmatic. It studies how language variation differ between groups divided by society characteristics, include ethnicity, religion, status, gender, level of education, age. Therefore, sociolinguistics is concerned with the social aspect of language. Sociolinguistics investigates how social variables influence language choices by examining linguistic elements utilized by a group of people. Then we will delve deeper about what does sociolinguistics studies. Sociolinguistics studies how social characteristics such as gender, ethnicity, age, and socioeconomic classic influence are influenced by language use. Sociolinguistics are interested in how people communicate differently in different social circumstances, as well as how we employ specific language function to transmit social meaning or part of our identity. Sociolinguistics instructs us on everyday attitude and social setting. It also studies how language and society interact. Sociolinguistics are interested in how people speak differently in a different social situation, as well as how we employ specific function of language to communicate social meaning or part of our identity. Then we will move to the sociolinguistic factor. Sociolinguistics is the study of how social factors such as grammar, accent, and vocabulary choices influence how people use language. The following are the primary social factors. Geographic location, how you talk is influenced by where you grow up. Linguistics call this linguistics. Variation, dialects. For example, in the United Kingdom, dialects differ by location and frequently have distinct pronunciation, grammar and vocabulary, and standard British English. Geordie from Newcastle, Scots from Liverpool, and Cockney are examples of common UK dialects found in London. Occupation, how you use language is influenced by your profession. The computer program, for example, is significantly more likely than a chef to utilize technical jargon. Jargon is a type of slang that is peculiar to a workplace, a small group, and is often difficult to understand for those outside the group. Gender. The element is a little more contagious than the others because there is a lot of contrasting evidence on the disparities in language usage between men and women. Some academics believe that disparities in speech are related to heredity, while others believe that women's lower social standing has influenced their language use. According to certain research, women are more polite and expressive, whereas male are more straightforward. Other studies have found that while women are generally the primary caretakers, men swear more and use caretaker speech adjusted to speak to young children. Age. The sociolinguists consider age as one of variable because from the moment speakers are socialized to behave in specific way, the way they talk tends to fit in with what is expected of a given age group. Socioeconomic status. This usually refers to a person's social standing or class on an individual of organization is referred to as socioeconomic status. Education, income, and occupation are frequently used to calculate it. Examining socioeconomic status frequently reveal discrepancies in resource access as well as concern of privilege, power and control. According to recent survey, the UK today has 7 distinct socioeconomic classes: precarious, proletariat, emerging service workers, conventional working class, new affluent workers, technical middle class, established middle class, and elite depending on one socioeconomic standing. The language they employ will most likely differ greatly. This could be due to their education, the people they choose to spend time with, or can afford to spend time with, their employment or their financial situation. Ethnicity, which refers to the fact or state of being a member of a social group with a shared national or cultural heritage. Ethnic groups have long been associated with the concept of speech community in sociolinguistics, and linguists have long viewed speech communities as objective, factual entities. Sociolinguistics have long claimed that ethnicity and language use are linked. The previous example demonstrates how ethnicity can influence language. The role of sociolinguistics. The sociolinguistics has an important role that focuses on how people speak differently in different social situations, as well as how we employ specific language function to transmit social meaning on a part of our identity. Sociolinguistics instruct us how to understand real-life attitude and social situation. Sociolinguistics are concerned about social implication of language usage and reception. In general, they conduct basic research on language variance, sensitivity, and acquisition in a variety of social groupings, including those based on social rank, age, race, sex, family, and friendship units. Sociolinguistics try to identify the language traits that are employed in specific settings and distinguish the various social relationship between the participants as well as the important aspects of the event. We can therefore conclude that sociolinguistics is concerned with how a language is used, interacts with, or is influenced by social characteristics such as gender, ethnicity, age, and socioeconomic status. It is a discipline concerned with the role of language in maintenance of social position within a community. Sociolinguists try to separate the language qualities that are employed in a specific context and distinguish the various social interaction between participants and the situation significant elements.